What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel for this horror news update. As you can see from the headline and the timestamp of this article, literally 20 minutes ago, Dexter Original Sin prequel series gets season 2 renewal. Now, we did, if you didn't know, we actually did a weekly episode, a weekly video after each new episode dropped. We did a review and summary of those episodes, gave our score of it. And when we got the final episode, I had mentioned in my final thoughts and wrap up of this prequel series, we didn't know it was actually going to be, if it was going to be a one and done, if it was going to be turned into a season 1 with multiple seasons. So we were really taking the approach of this is just a one and done series, and what do we think, right? So I'm not surprised by this announcement. I'm not surprised because the numbers, based on the numbers the prequel series got, especially the first episode and then throughout, it had steady numbers. It was a big hit for Showtime, and I think it's on Paramount Plus. So because that's where I watched it. So I'm not surprised by this. Now, whether or not I think this really needed a season 2. No, not really. And now the fact that they're going to be doing a season 2, they really, in my opinion, need to ramp it up for season 2, because season 1, it had a lot more mid and low points than it did high points, because I felt there were a lot of aspects that took place within that story that were just abandoned. And I will say this, and I've said it throughout all 8, I think it was 8 episodes that we did for the original prequel season 1. I mentioned, like, for example, when Tony, the loan shark, when his arm was eventually found, they seem to have abandoned that story because they found the arm. They had all this police presence there. Dexter was going there to dump another body. He had the body in the back of his truck, but he shows up there, realizes they found the arm, and then, while no one's looking, quickly throws it to an alligator to eat it. And now that evidence is gone. But the one thing that they also did never touch on again is when he took the trophy earrings that he took from Nurse Mary and threw them into that same river area. Those were just forgotten about. And I think the fact that had they have stuck with that story a little bit, like once they found Tony's arm, they also found these earrings, and then, like, well, wait a minute, could there have been other people here? And they try to fit that into the story a bit more as to how Dexter is going to get out of these situations. I think would have added, for me, a bit more to it, instead of this just abandoning it altogether. Why then show him taking up the trophy, getting him back from Deb's best friend, and having us to show him toss him in there? Because then they also, when he tossed him into the river or this lake swamp, we saw them drastically sinking to the bottom and hitting the bottom of the bed. Why show any of that if it's really going to be for nothing? Just have him toss him in there and move on with the scene. So they emphasized that point, which led me to believe that they might touch on this, and they never did. There were some, we did see Dexter in the early stages of when he started killing, all the way to, how sloppy he was at the very beginning and how he is, and how he tries to adapt and change up how he's doing things, like the M80, injecting his victims instead of just trying to fight them and subdue them. So we saw that back and forth a little bit. But the original series did end with a huge cliffhanger that they left the door wide open to do a season 2. And the fact that Brian is there, we know he's around. I'm guessing that Brian, if you don't know, Brian, his brother, who we do see him as a dominant or prominent character as the ice truck killer in season 1 of the original series. We see him at the end of this season 1, while Deb and Harry and Dexter are having this grand old time, and the show kind of comes to an end on a happy note. But I do see them potentially using Brian as a big character in season 2, and I think if they don't do that and they abandon that completely, I think that's going to be a huge misstep. And we don't know what time jump we're going to get either. So we don't know if this is going to be a few months after season 1. We don't know if this is going to be 5-6 years down the road, or maybe a year out from the original series, right? So we don't have any of that information yet. Again, this is just getting renewed. So let's see what we know about this thus far. The highly popular prequel series, Dexter Original Sin, was the most streamed original for Showtime in a decade per their Wrap. So it's no surprise that the show has been renewed for season 2 at Paramount Plus with Showtime. And that's just what I touched on as well. The numbers were there. So with that being said, I wasn't surprised when I saw this morning. Dexter showrunner Clyde Phillips will return for the series' second season. I would imagine he would, since he did this season. He's doing the Dexter Resurrection. He's involved in wanting to do the prequel Trinity Killer Dexter series, and now with this one, I can't imagine somebody else coming in to do it, so it only makes sense. We have here the synopsis around the original season 1 of Dexter Original Sin. I don't think we necessarily need to go through that. If you've been keeping up with us throughout the last few months, you would know all this information already. Or if you've been watching it on your own outside of what we've been doing here on the channel, you already know all this. And then we just have here who the cast was that played the Morgan family, and then the rest of the casting that was shown throughout the film, the series. Sorry, here. The first season is available to stream now and getting a Steelbook Blu-ray release this summer, and there's even more Dexter on the way, with showrunner Clyde Phillips currently working on Dexter Resurrection, which we've been keeping updates on that. Every time one comes out, we've been putting out an update for that. Primarily, the only thing we've been getting on Dexter Resurrection is just all the weekly casting updates, and I think thus far we haven't gotten a casting update this week. Maybe we're done with them, because we were getting 2 to 3 casting updates a week for about 2 months. And with this coming due in the next 2 to 3 months, I'm hoping we start seeing some trailers soon, and maybe some story as far as what this series is going to be about. So production dates have yet to be set for season 2, but the writers' room is opening soon, so expect to hear more about the new season soon. All right, so that's all we have on this. So this is just a quick horror news update. We are going to be getting a Dexter Original Sin prequel series, season 2. I'd imagine this probably won't happen until, I'd say, mid 2026, probably March, April time 2026. Because again, we have Resurrection coming out in a couple months. That's going to be probably 2 months there. If they decide to do Trinity, that'd be towards the end of the year, and then we'll get season 2 back at the beginning of 2026. So anyways, that's the update for this horror news. Dexter Original Sin is coming back for season 2. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about this. Are you looking forward to a season 2? Did you like season 1, or was season 1 really just, again, very mid for you, and you don't really have an interest in this? I know a lot of you hardcore Dexter fans are pretty hyped for this news. So again, let us know in the comment section. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. Peace.